Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. You may have heard of the mysterious lizard people. They're found in mythology and fiction, and more recently in the ramblings of conspiracy theorists, who believe a race of reptilian beings is trying to take over the world governments. Believe it or not, there is no evidence for this, but that doesn't stop 4% of Americans from reportedly believing it.
There is a predator race which take a reptilian form.
But what if, despite the ridiculous claims and complete lack of evidence, this theory turned out to be true? Let's explore. If you want more what if videos, check out our biggest what ifs playlist on the channel. Now get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if the lizard people were real? Before we get into this, I should probably go over what the heck I'm talking about, since most people have either a very rudimentary understanding of this theory or have never heard of it at all. The idea of the lizard people holds that a number of positions within world governments have been infiltrated by reptilians or lizard people. These shape-shifting aliens are believed to have taken up residence across the world, taking positions in world governments in order to take control of the Earth. This idea was popularized by British conspiracy theorist David Icke.
I've seen enough and heard enough to believe that it's real, and so I say it. I don't care about the consequences for me.
And despite the lack of evidence, 12 million Americans reportedly believe in this. But what if they were right? If world governments were being controlled by shape-shifting lizard people, that wouldn't exactly bode well for the human race. Of course, many of the effects of this would be largely based on the number of lizard people. If there were just a select few who were intent on manipulating global politics but not conquering the world, we may see relatively few changes in the near future. We could see political meddling, with leaders attempting to influence other elections in order to aid other reptilians to the top, but that isn't exactly new. It could even be that Vladimir Putin interfered in the US election to help his lizard brother Donald Trump into office. Occam's razor tells another story, but that story simply isn't as fun. This sounds rather ridiculous, and it is, but it would explain certain things. For instance, this could help to explain the reluctance of certain groups to accept that humans have a hand in climate change. If the world warms up, it would be even better suited for the heat-loving reptiles, so it makes sense that they would try to shut down those worried about global warming. Although this can also be explained by the fact that certain people owe too much to big oil to admit that we're causing climate change. But that's far too boring an explanation. Furthermore, if they truly did not intend to harm us but merely use us to achieve their ends, a lizard person might be preferable to certain narcissistic egomaniacs who some believe to be bringing the world to the brink of war. It could be that if the world governments were led by lizard people, there would be less tension between countries. On the other hand, it could well be that there would be just as much disconnect and strife between groups of reptilians as we see in humans, and we would see the same political posturing and warfare as we currently do. If, however, the lizard people were numerous or had the means of becoming more numerous, then they could intend to eradicate humanity and replace them with their lizard brethren. This, of course, would not be ideal for us humans. Eventually, the reptilians in government would have enough of a hold that they could begin to infiltrate other areas. Icke believes this has already started, claiming that many powerful families, like the Rothschilds and even the British royal family, are lizard people. This means that not only would the lizard agenda be pushed by the government, but by many prominent citizens as well, and later they would move to the general population. The more the reptilians infiltrated our society, the more difficult it would be to fight back, eventually leading to a society led by these people. It could be that they would begin killing civilians and taking their place, allowing them to influence people on the interpersonal level. This would be particularly difficult to deal with, since it would presumably be impossible to determine who was human and who was lizard. If they became sufficiently numerous, the reptilians would likely come out of hiding, no longer having to pretend to be human. This would of course be a shock to the remaining humans, who would likely be rounded up and either put to work as slaves or killed and eaten. The world would then be openly led by these creatures, with command of Earth transferring to them. They would use our technology, possibly improving it, and continue where we left off. And now we return to our question, what if the lizard people were real? Well, if they simply intended to govern us, we likely wouldn't see a huge amount of change, and might actually benefit from their cohesion. If, however, their goal was world domination, it would not be good for humanity. We likely wouldn't know about them until they had already invaded all levels of government and even the everyman, and when they revealed themselves, it would probably be the end of humanity. On the bright side, there's pretty much no chance that this is true, unless we're actually in a simulation in which it is true, but that's a story for another video. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was interesting and informative, and maybe even inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. While you're down there, let me know what you would do if the lizard people were real. Unless you are a lizard person, in which case, let me know what it's like to be a lizard person. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Life's Biggest Questions, wishing you the best of luck on your quest for answers.